Hi, this video is going to show you some tricks that I like to use when I'm creating some sort of worksheet or document using Microsoft Word. I actually am using Microsoft Word 2007, and depending on the version that you have, some of the tools may be placed in a different spot. And I apologize that my screen does not fill the entire Microsoft Word program, but it should be pretty straightforward. First thing I always pay attention to is page layout. I always use the smallest margin sizes. It depends on you. With paper being a shortage at my school, I try to fit everything into one document or one side so that I make less copies. So I'm going to choose half-inch margins. Depending on the type of worksheet, you might want to go with landscape versus portrait. I'm going to stick with portrait today. And then columns is something I use often. If I'm doing a worksheet or a newsletter, I might want to split up the information to different columns. Okay, so now that I have those two things set, I'm going to go ahead and choose my font. Maybe you have a particular font that you always use. The nice thing with elementary school is that you have an array of different font choices that would be grade appropriate for your students. I'm just going to stick with something very simple, Comic Sans, and depending on the age, of course, depends on the font size. I'm always start with a place where they put their name, and you, of course, can create your heading to be in any way that you want. Okay, so name, and then maybe a place for directions. It's very important to be very concise with directions that I've found. More simple directions, the better. It just helps students complete their assignments better. So for example, for now, I'm just going to fill in the blanks. I often use my bold tools or my shortcuts to make things stand out. When you create a worksheet, you have the ability to highlight the most important things. And so I often use bold or underline in a way that's not going to deter the students from doing the assignment, but highlighting the most important things. Okay. Now, something that I use often is the table um, tool. So in tables, you can actually use it for all sorts of assignments. Math is really helpful. Graphic organizers I often create. Um, So we're going to go ahead and start with a table. And what's really helpful are the tools that table comes with. So I'm just going to start with a basic 3 by 3 column um, table. Now here's the nice thing. With the draw tools options, you have many things that you can do to make it fancy. So let's say you want to add in um, right now, if I click on a design, you want to draw a table, you click on it, you have a pencil. Let's say I forgot a column and I want to add, click on draw table again, so that goes back to the normal. I want to add student numbers or problem number 1, problem number 2, problem number 3. That draw table is a quick way to create a new table or create a new column that you didn't have ideally. Now with the eraser one, it's cool. Maybe you only want to take away that particular line. Maybe that problem doesn't need the lines to go all the way across. So with the eraser tool, you can take out what you want, take out what you don't want. I'm going to go ahead and I realize I forgot to make another line across. I want to make a heading. So I'm going to move my number 1 and make this a heading. So for example, word problem. Again, I like to use, go back to home, I like to use my different formatting to bold things, make things look better. Here's word problem, and then here would be answer. Center it, bold it, and this could be where they could show work. Show work. With new Common Core problems, students have to be able to explain it, prove their answers. So maybe you're creating a worksheet that will be helpful for them for homework. So let's come up with a word problem, or you can take a word problem from a math book. She had 2 cookies. I like to use student names in there to make it kind of personal for them. Miss Nguyen bought her 4 more. How many does she have? Does she have in all? So if you continue working, you can again add more rows if you wanted to, or take things away if you didn't need it. So there's just some things that I like to use with the tools under table. If you have any other questions, please let me know.